Hugelkultur is a gardening and farming technique that involves creating raised beds or mounds filled with decaying wood, compost, and organic matter. Over time, the wood decomposes, providing nutrients to plants and improving soil structure. It helps retain moisture, enhances fertility, and can be a sustainable way to grow crops. It has been practiced for several hundreds of years, mostly in Germany and Eastern Europe. So what are the benefits of building your own hugelkultur bed? The benefits of starting your own hugelkultur is to improve soil fertility, enhance moisture retention, extend growing season, reduce weeding, sustainable use of woody debris, aeration and drainage, no-till gardening, and long-term sustainability. Overall, hugelkultur is an excellent method for building healthy, productive, and sustainable gardens while reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers and excessive irrigation. Now, I'm going to be talking about 3 methods I've seen people build these hugelkultur beds, and I'll show you how I built mine. The first one I'm going to talk about is garden bed. So if you have a large garden bed, instead of filling up your garden bed with a lot of soil or having to bring in a lot of soil or purchasing a lot of soil, you can just fill up the bottom with wood, large wood, or even twigs and branches. You can fill that up, and that's going to be, as time goes by and it decays, it's going to be adding nutrients as well as moisture to your garden. Another way I've seen people build is kind of a no-dig method. The method I've done is digging a trench or digging a hole, but you can also not do this. And now, if you can dig a hole in your garden, either because the soil is too hard or you just don't have any good soil, it's not even worth digging, or for whatever reason you might not be able to dig a hole in your garden, a trench, then just piling the wood into the ground is another method you can do. So you just basically use the same method of hugelkultur bed as bringing in large wood in the bottom, and then stacking it with smaller and smaller, and then eventually twigs. And then you can bring in some green material, brown material, and then on top of that would be soil. Now, the more common method, or maybe popular or maybe traditional method, is building a trench, which is basically building a hole where you can put your large pieces of wood that would go right underneath the soil. Now, as for stacking or how you want to layer your hugelkultur bed, there's roughly different methods, but the simplest way would be to have your bottom with large wood, increasingly have smaller pieces of branches, twigs, and then you would have some brown material, so dry leaves, dry grass, and then maybe some compost, and then right on top of that would be soil. Here are a few charts of different ways people organize their hugelkultur bed and what they put in it and how they layer them. So how do you build your own hugelkultur bed? First, you want to find a location with good sunlight and drainage. Then you would want to collect the material that will be part of your hugelkultur bed. So you need large pieces of wood, branches, twigs, maybe some brown material, leaves, some dried grass, and you can also bring in some green material, some garden clippings or some grass clippings, and then you're going to want to build a trench. So the way I've done it is I decided to build a trench. I dug a trench roughly 2 feet in depth, so it would have my largest pieces of wood would be the bottom layer, and then I decided to kind of fill in the cracks with smaller pieces, or just to make sure it kind of all filled in. And then I put another layer of twigs and branches, and then on top of that I decided to put in some dried grass, and then a bit of mixture of green grass and dried grass. Once that was done, I decided to put in the soil. I put 1 layer of soil. I also put in some compost, some cow manure I had. I sprayed a little bit of that, and then I kept on adding some more soil. Now, for your first Hugelkultur bed, some people recommend just doing a cover crop, and then some people go all out and start planting plants already. So I decided to put in some flowers and some herbs for my initial growth, and we'll see how that turns out. And then once I put in that, I was lucky that we've had quite a bit of rain come down these past few days. So if it's not raining, you're definitely gonna want to put in some water in there and make sure your soil is somewhat wet if you had seedlings or if you already have plants on them. But the beauty about the Hugelkultur bed, it is that it's kind of self-sustainable and low maintenance. Now, I hope I inspired you to try to build your own Hugelkultur bed. I will be reporting in the future how this bed goes. I'm going to put a playlist as well as some of the videos that have helped me build my Hugelkultur bed, and where you can also get some information. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Until the next one, peace.